Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I got some goodies. Now I know normally I always am teaching y'all something, but hold on. Anyways, I think it's not weak. Okay. I know I'm normally always teaching y'all about something, but there's a part about finances that a lot of people don't talk about, and I really want to talk about it today. I want to talk about financial trauma, right? Very early on in my business, I realized that a big part of the reason why people struggle in achieving their financial goals, they have a lot of unhealed trauma from their childhood regarding finances. And your childhood really plays a big part in why you look at money the way you do, why you view money the way you do. So that is something I always make sure I talk about. The first question I asked was, how was your upbringing? Like, did you grow up in a rich family? Did you grow up in a poor family? What was the situation about money? How did you view money as a child? That is definitely something I always touch on. So I want to touch about it today, and I just want to talk about my own personal financial trauma. But before I do that, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to my channel. So growing up, I think I'm gonna need some tissues, y'all. I'm gonna try not to cry. My upbringing concerning money was very, let's just say, negative. So, or a little bit of background knowledge about my family. My mom is actually from Liberia. I am first generation American. So that just means I'm the first person in my family to be born in America from a parent that is an immigrant. So being that my mom was from another country, she didn't know nothing about credit. She didn't really know anything about finances, because how money works in America is definitely not how money works in Africa. And especially considering we come from a culture where men really handle all of that, and we, the females, don't really handle that per se. My mom didn't really know, how to handle finances. And then not only that, she's pregnant in a new country, barely knows any English, doesn't really know anyone. And then the person that she did know kind of like did her dirty, y'all. He kicked my mama out. We were homeless for the first couple of years of my life. And I don't really remember. I think we finally got a place when I was like 4 or 5 years old. But even then, the childhood that I had was very unstable. We never lived anywhere longer than 3 or 4 years. So I was born in New York. We moved to New Jersey. I lived in Delaware. I've lived in Minnesota. I've lived in Chicago. I've lived in Philadelphia. I've lived a bunch of different places, and because we just have to always move. So because of that, I lacked a lot of stability in my life. Not only that, I noticed my mom was always kind of like angry and upset because she was broke, which I mean, I understand it now because I'm an adult and I have children. But like, damn sis, you ain't have to take it out on me like you did. But I ain't gonna go too far into that because I don't want my mom to see it and curse me out. But no, like, she was just always angry, like just mad. And I can, now that I'm an adult, I can understand her frustration. But like, we never had any money. Like, I never went school shopping for clothes. I strictly remember back in the day, we had these Virgin Mobile phones. I think they were called like the Oyster phones. And I wanted a cell phone so bad. And my mom was like, you need to get a phone. And I remember I was like in the 6th grade, and I was really good at doing hair, braiding hair. So I literally would braid people's hair, and I saved up my money so I could buy this phone. And then I would save up money so I could put minutes on the phone so I could have a cell phone, because I couldn't talk on the house phone because my mama didn't play that. So like, very early on, I learned to associate money with work. It's something that you have to work for. And that's the first thing I want you guys to remember. Money, I have to trade my time for money. That's what my childhood taught me, starting off rip, right? You have to work hard for money. If you want something, you work hard, you save your money until you get it. That's where my mindset started from when I was a child, having to do that. Not only that, we always had to beg for clothes. Luckily, we didn't live that far from a thrift store, so whenever we needed clothes, we were able to go to the thrift store and buy clothes. But I don't know if you guys have ever bought anything from a thrift store. I know it's glamorized now, but back then it was not glamorized. Them clothes used to stink so bad. I got PTSD because I can smell the cigarettes off of the clothes like right now. OMG. But no, for real, like it was just really bad. Like a lot of my pictures from when I was a child, you can tell that financially we were struggling. My clothes, my pants were always really short. My shirts were extremely tight. Like it just didn't make any sense. But I lived in the project, so we were all broke, so when nobody really tripping like that. You feel me? But we were like the poorest people in the projects, and that's sad. Like it's one thing to be in the projects, but when you the poorest family in the projects, and y'all know black people like to roast you. Them kids used to roast me so bad. So in my adult years, when I became an adult, I would spend money just as quick as I would get it. And you know what's funny? I remember that's when that song, what's the song? Spend a check and get it right back. That was like my theme song back in the day. I remember I was going to college full time and I was working full time. I had 2 jobs. I worked at a nursing home and I worked at Walmart. And I would spend my money just as quick as I would get it. Like I would always go in a negative in my bank account. And again, remember earlier I told you, very early in my life, I learned to trade my time for money. So you hear that? I was a freshman in college and I was working 2 jobs. I was working at Walmart and a nursing home because my childhood taught me that if you wanted money, you needed to trade your time for money. So that's what I would do. And it got to the point where I would start skipping classes to pick up extra shifts so I could buy stuff that I wanted. And eventually, obviously, I started to flunk out of school because I was more worried about getting the money. Because, I mean, what's better than being able to buy the stuff you want? You know what I'm saying? So, fast forward to me joining the Navy, y'all. I joined the Navy, and I actually took a pay cut when I first joined the Navy. So I did that. I didn't have enough money, but now everybody looking at me like, you got all this money, you need to help out, right? So I always felt like I owed my mother something because of the childhood that I had. I felt like she struggled so bad just to do the little bit that she was able to do, that I didn't have boundaries when it came to my mother, and I never told her no. So if she wanted something, even if I had to take out a loan to get it, I would do that because I just felt like I owed my mom everything. And I just want to tell you, you do not owe your parents not a damn thing. Like, I'll be damned if my daughter ever told me that she felt like she owes me anything. You don't owe me nothing but respect. That's all I require from you. You don't owe me to pay my bills. You don't owe me to make sure I have a roof over my head. Like, you don't owe nobody nothing, okay? If you want anything you want to do for somebody, it is optional. And I want to say that to y'all because it took me a while to get to a point where I realized that, and I was okay with that, and I didn't beat myself up because it wasn't disrespectful. Because people will really run you dry, especially your family, and they're not doing it on purpose. They just think that it's okay. Like, okay, she not struggling, she got it. But no, she's struggling in her own way. She don't got it in her own way. So that's the second thing I want you to remember, that it's okay to create boundaries with your family when it came down to money. So then I went through a phase where I would spend my money as soon as I would get it. And then I matured into this phase of I had to spend it or I had to give it away because I knew I was going to get a guaranteed income. So in the military, we get paid on salary. So like basically it's like the world would have to crack in half for me not to get paid being active duty military, right? So then my mindset was, okay, well, I can go, like, it's okay if I'm broke 2, 3, 4 days after, getting paid, because I'm gonna just get it right back on the 15th or whatever. But that wasn't smart either, because things would happen. I had a car, my car would break down, or I would need an oil change, and I just could not keep up. So I would end up taking out loans just so that I could make it to the next paycheck, right? And then I started back doing hair a little bit, but working in the Navy and doing hair, it was a lot. And I was so tired all the time, but it was what I had to do because I had no money. Because remember, earlier I learned to trade my time for money, right? So I want to say my last big financial trauma was when my daughter, it was right after my birthday. My daughter had to have been, she was 1. at the time, and I was just having a really rough time. All of these past due notices started to come in. My paycheck started to get garnished from things that I owed. It was just a really rough time. And I felt like I was a failure because of how I could not provide for my daughter. And looking back now, I could provide for her. I was doing okay. But the trauma that I had from being a child and growing up so poor and growing up with no money, I felt like I was about to put my daughter through that. And being that I felt that way, it drove me into contemplating suicide. And looking back at it, it's like, damn, like, give yourself some grace. Like, you just had a baby. Why are you feeling like you shouldn't live? But I just remember growing up saying, I don't never want my kid to feel the way that I felt. And at 1 year old, when she was 1 year old, I felt like that's exactly what I was doing. I was creating the cycle again of poverty. Even though I was working, even though I had a car, I had more than what my mom had growing up, I still felt so poor because I just could not do the stuff I wanted to do for my daughter. I couldn't just get up and go shopping for her if I wanted to, or I couldn't just go and do like little trips with her if I wanted to. I just could not do any of that, and I was just struggling so bad, and it drove me into a deep depression. And I don't know if you've ever been financially depressed, baby, but let me tell you, being financially depressed is the worst. Because when you're financially depressed, you shut down. You start not paying stuff, which puts you in an even deeper hole. You start to want to hide. You're ashamed of yourself. You feel like a failure. Then you see people posting these things that they're doing. And then you're looking at you like, why am I not doing that? I should have this figured out by now. Being financially depressed is like, whew. Child, it is hard. I done been through a couple little different types of depressions, and that financial one, oh baby, that was the one that almost took me out. I'm gonna tell you that right now. That financial depression, it'll get you. And it was just so hard, y'all. It was so hard to pull myself back up because every time I would feel like I was getting ahead, I would feel like I would get another notice in the mail. It would be, you owe this person this, you owe this person that, I owe friends money. Like, it was just really bad. So about when COVID first started is really when I started to take my finances seriously. And I really had to sit down like, okay, why is your relationship with money the way that it is? And that's something I want you to ask yourself. Why is your situation with money the way it is? Is money something you fear? Think about it. Because if you are scared of going broke, or if you are scared of not having enough money to, to do something, or you feel like you're going to be missing out, if you treat money as a fear, it will always control you. You can't do that. That's the one thing I had to learn very quickly. You tell money what to do. Money don't tell you what to do. Do you understand me? And once I realized that, like, okay, I'm in control. You know that scene in Hustle and Flow when he on the phone with the girl and he was like, say it with me, like, I'm in charge. I'm in charge. That's how you got to be when it comes to money. You're in charge. And that's how you need to view it. Like, you are the boss. You tell your money what it's going to do. So that's the first realization I had to come to. The second thing I had to do was forgive myself. I had to forgive myself for all of the things that happened that put me in a situation I was in financially in that moment. I had to let it go. The older generation can only give you advice based on the economy they grew up in. So like if you meet somebody that grew up during the Great Depression, they're going to tell you not to trust the banks. They're going to tell you save your money, don't get no credit, pay everything in cash, which is not bad advice. It makes sense for the time that they were living in. So it's not like they're purposely giving you bad advice. They're just giving you advice based on the time that they lived in. And that's all really anyone can do. 5-6 years from now, some of the information that I give you is probably going to be obsolete. You just have to pick and choose which bits of it you're going to use and apply it to yourself. So keep that in mind when people are trying to tell you what to do about finances. So I think we done already dug into all of the business a little too much, but I really want you to sit and think about, what is your relationship with money, and why do you look at money the way you do? Are you scared of money? Are you one of those people that feel like you gotta spend it and you'll get it right back? Or are you one of those people that feel like you gotta save it all? Because that's financial abuse too. If you're one of those people that you save and you never spend any money, that's not a good thing either. Like, yeah, you got money for emergency, but why are you not investing it? Right? Why are you not paying down your credit cards? Why do you have $75,000 saved up and you owe $24K on your car? Like, why? What are you scared of? The apocalypse gonna happen? You're not gonna have no money to buy something when everything blow up? It's not that serious. So you really need to ask yourself that. So I want y'all to sign off in the comments and tell me about your financial trauma, so cause maybe we can help each other. I'm Ukanje Financials, and tune in next week for another video. Bye.